To everyone. We're anxious to get back on the court and kind of get what I guess I would call a bad taste out of our mouth from not a very good performance the other day. So we're excited about New Year, getting into conference play. So it's the most exciting time of the year. It's the toughest time of the year because you got 18 just brutally tough games, no matter where they are, who you play against, because that's just how conference play is. So, we're getting into the gauntlet of our schedule here, but we're excited about it. Just kind of get to the ACC. It's fun. It's the best conference in the country, and it gets off to a tough start with a Pitt team that's been playing very, very well as of late. So, we got to get off to a good start, especially at home, and we're anxious to get back out on the court.
You watched the film of Kentucky Game Day. Did you watch it and show the players, or how do you address that?
Yeah, we learned from it. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what we did or what was said or anything like that, but it's behind us. We can't dwell on it. We got to put it behind us. We got to put it in the rearview mirror, and we got to get ready for conference play because at the end of the day, conference play is the most important part of our season. It's the most important part of any team season. So you got to learn what you need to learn and move on and improve where you need to improve.
Are you worried at all about the confidence factor, the morale, and any of that stuff with this team?
No, were we disappointed with just playing a poor game? Yes, of course we were. But I told my guys yesterday, I love my team. I wouldn't trade them for any 14 players in the country. I love them to death. They've given me, a great joy in a tough time this year, and they make it enjoyable for me to come to work every day. So, I love them to death. I have the utmost confidence in the world in them. I believe in them. I think we still have a chance to do something very special this year, and we just got to get back on track. It's as simple as that.
They say it's never as good as it was or as bad as it looked. Was the tape as bad as it looked? On first watching, or did you see some things? Or
yeah, anytime you get beat like that, it's never good. But we've kind of tried to stick to that model all year, or that kind of cliche, I guess. Don't get too high about the highs and don't get too low about the lows. And that's just how you have to approach any basketball season, really. Look, if anybody thought, in our program or outside our program, thought that there weren't going to be any speed bumps this year, I think that would be a little unrealistic. We just picked a bad day to have our worst performance of the year up to that point, and you got to give them a ton of credit because I think that was probably their best performance, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So, like I said, we're not dwelling on it. We had to learn from it, and we just got to use it in a positive way from a correctional standpoint and motivational standpoint moving forward.
Is there any theme in any of these losses other than they're all against good teams? Pretty good opponents. Is there anything that you're noticing there?
Well, I think that one the other day was a little bit different than our other ones, obviously because of the score. But it's just. Look, you can learn something from every game, win, lose, or draw, and it's always better to learn from a win. In this case, we had to learn, unfortunately, from a loss. But like I said, we know what we had to correct, what we have to correct moving forward, not only from that game, but just from a team standpoint, and we've really tried to focus in on those things the last couple of days.
A couple of the guys in the locker room were frustrated with the energy and enthusiasm, especially in the second half, the effort. Did you see that on film? Did you have to talk about that, or did you see a response maybe in practice from that?
Well, we've had two very intense days of practice, I will say that, which to me is a good sign. Anytime you respond in a good way like that with intense practices after a loss, that's a good sign. They knew what we didn't do well. In a game like that, we obviously didn't do very many things well, but they knew how I felt. And I'll just leave it at that. We kind of kept it between myself and the players. So, look, like I said, it's not something we're dwelling on. We have to look back on it, hopefully, here in a couple months and say that loss maybe springboarded us. But that's the only thing we can do. It was a tough game, but you just got to give the other team a lot of credit. We just got to put it in the rearview mirror, get ready for ACC play.
Coming into conference play, what do you want to see the guys do quickly and well in this game?
Well, we just need to get back to our identity, and I think that's just being a great defensive team. We're going to have games where, and we have had games, as you guys well know, where we've struggled on the offensive end, and it's something we got to continue to work on. But, we just got to get back to our identity as a program, and that's being a great defensive team, just trying to, we've done a great job of blocking shots all year, but trying to maybe force some more turnovers and maybe make our press a little bit more effective and our half-court defense and that kind of thing. So, we just got to come out tomorrow and just, play the way we're capable of playing. And, not only because it's what we need to do after a tough loss, but because that's what you have to do in conference play, and we have to get off to a good start. Luckily, we're at home. It doesn't make it necessarily any easier because conference play is always tough, but, we just got to get off to a good start and get off ACC play on the right foot.
Because it is so tough, how important is protecting home court, not just tomorrow night, but throughout this year?
Yeah, with the exception of Seton Hall, obviously we did a good job in the non-conference slate, but it's even more important in the conference play because winning on the road in conference, I don't care what conference is about as tough a thing as there is to do in sports. And, there's kind of an old adage, and we haven't said this or anything, but just as an example, in conference play you always want to try to protect home and then split on the road. That's kind of an old saying, and if you can do that, you'll have a pretty good year. So we got to play well at home, and like I said, just get off to a good start. And our goal right now is just to try to be 1-0 in ACC play.
Why's conference play seem so different, and has it changed since you played?
Well, I don't think the intensity of it has changed. Different leagues, but when I was playing, Big East was the best league in the country. Now ACC is the best league in the country, so it's similar. It's equally difficult. It's Boston College obviously gets off to a great start, beats Duke, and then I didn't see the game, but loses that by one at Virginia the other day. So it's every night in conference play is just going to be a battle, and you got to be ready to go, or it's going to be a long night. So we need to be ready to go tomorrow.
Is it just the familiarity? Everybody knows everybody really well?
Yeah, everybody knows everybody. Obviously, personnel changes year to year, but it's just there's a level of intensity, I guess, maybe that goes up, and it's just at the end of the day, or at the end of the season, I should say, when your body of work, I guess, is evaluated, a lot of emphasis and a lot more weight maybe is put on conference play. So, you're competing for a league championship. You're competing to do well, and we've played 13 games. It seems like we've played about 30 in my mind, but we have 18 more, and they're all going to be just as hard, if not harder, than any game we've had so far.
It's usually a physical team. What do you expect from them this year?
Yeah, no different. They're a little bit different from an offensive standpoint maybe than they have been. Obviously their personnel's a lot different. They have a lot of new faces, but they present a good challenge for us because they shoot the ball so well at basically every position. And you got to be alert. They're I don't want to compare them to like a Bellarmine style offense, but very pass heavy. They run their sets very well, very efficient. And if you fall asleep or turn your head for 1 second, somebody could back catch you, they can pass, open threes. So, we got to be alert. It's one of those games where your defensive alertness has to be very, very high, and we have to be ready to go. And they rely so heavily upon the three that teams like that, if they make 9-10 threes in a game, they present a serious problem.
It seemed like you guys may have been a little after the Seton Hall game with getting the ball more into Q's hands quicker. Kentucky then seemed to be kind of blitzing the pick and roll, double teaming him, trying to keep him out of his flow. How do you kind of counter stuff like that? Because obviously in conference teams are going to be knowing that Q is the guy who kind of engineers everything.
There's different ways to do it. We obviously let our big guys handle the ball a lot, similar to when I played. At the top of the key area, Honest is a very good decision maker up there. Dang and BJ will have the ball in their hands, but that's where guys like Ryan and Darius, even though he's young, are valuable because they're good decision makers. They have to be able to make decisions, and you can't just say, all right, Q, here's the ball, just make the right play every time, because like you said, other teams are going to hone in on that. So it's just got to be a team thing. We just got to execute our offense, adjust to what the other team's trying to do, trying to take away, and each team's going to do things differently, but it's no different than us. We'll try to look at a team and say, what are their strengths? What can we try to take away? And I'm sure that team might try to respond accordingly. So you just got to, each game is different. Each team presents a different challenge from a defensive standpoint when we're on offense and trying to do those things. So you just got to look at it, but you can't just rely on one person to say, here, you got to do the right thing for everybody else. Now, obviously, Q's very important to our team, but other guys have to step up and make plays as well.
Dave, will you reevaluate of taking a player, taking Honest or Ray out after 2 fouls, or is that, in your mind, a hard and fast thing that just has to be done?
Yeah, look, have I second guessed myself about whether or not maybe I should have put one of them back in? Of course I have, but, I've done that with every game we've had this year, but it's just, it's tough. You just get real gun shy about doing it because all of a sudden if they go in and they pick up their third, well then all of a sudden, it's just tough. And for whatever reason, as a big guy, it's tougher to get into the flow of a game when you've been in foul trouble, and I don't know why, I really can't pinpoint it, but if a guard gets in foul trouble, sometimes it's easier for them to get in the flow of the game. But, it's just something we have to learn how to overcome, and we had some lineups in there the other day that were something we haven't really practiced, but, it's guys just have to be able to step up and contribute and make plays when their number's called.
Now, but you look at the league, how tough is it this year from top to bottom after you've seen the non-conference play?
Well, I mean, I'd have to think about it a little bit, but it's probably as tough as it's been just because there really isn't a bottom. Clemson, I saw today, is ranked 25th, and I think I mentioned it a month or so back. I walked into our film room one day and Logan was watching Clemson. I said, "How are they?" And he goes, "Man, they're one of the best teams I've seen." And he wasn't wrong. They're 12-1 now. They're ranked, and so it's just every single night, and it's going to be tough, but we just got to be up for the challenge. We got 18 of these things, so we have to take it one game at a time. Just kind of the same mentality and approach we've had all year. So it's every night out, home or away, who you're playing doesn't matter. If you're not at your best, you're very susceptible to getting beat.